This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Matt, so I need to clarify. It seems like
been a lot of clarifying today.
A lot of clarifying. Yeah, I know. We were talking about Zillow a few episodes ago.
Yes.
And you said somebody had a question.
Somebody had a question about our conversation in regards to Zillow and all of the latest headlines and the CEO. And they were saying that Zillow's been around forever. Zillow's been around for a long time, and they help people sell their homes. And why do you have such a big issue with Zillow? They're doing what they've always been doing.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So Zillow, I mean, it depends on how long you consider forever. Zillow was founded in 2006. It really wasn't even a popular
20 years ago.
Wasn't even like a popular thing to like maybe 2008, 2009. You know,
right?
And so, not that long ago. But what's happened over that period of time is Zillow has evolved. And the most recent evolution is something that I think is not good for the consumer. And that is because they offer a product now that will promote certain listings. The only way you promote certain properties is by suppressing other properties. That's the only way you can differentiate between the two. So if somebody's on Zillow looking for a property, they are not seeing an unbiased, unfiltered list of available homes.
Right.
That is not good for the consumer. That is what
Why
I disagree
isn't it
with.
good for the consumer? What do they care?
Because if they're looking for homes, they want to see the available inventory. That was Zillow's original thing. Like, one, we'll give you a Zestimate so you have an idea of what your home is worth. And two, see what's out there. You can see what realtors can see without being a real estate agent. And that is not entirely the case anymore, because if other properties are being promoted, you're going to have to search and you're going to have to filter and you're going to have to find the other homes that maybe you're interested in that are not readily, like, obviously available.
Right.
And the thing that really makes me frustrated about this situation is Zillow is not disclosing that. They're not. Consumers do not know, hey, I have to work a little harder to find the property I'm looking for because Zillow is promoting other properties and not promoting other properties.
Right. Okay.
So that's the change that's taking place with Zillow. And what's really interesting is that this is going hand in hand with a conversation called clear cooperation. Clear cooperation states that if you have a listing, you have to put in the MLS within a certain period of time. Like in our MLS, I believe it's 3 days. So a very short period of time from the moment you take the listing to the moment that it's supposed to be live in the MLS. And once it goes live in the MLS, then everybody can see it.
Right.
So a very short period of time. Because what happens if I go on a listing appointment and somebody agrees they want to move forward, but then they have to do all these repairs and get the house ready? Now I have to sign an MLS waiver saying, hey, yes, you agreed to move forward. We're going to keep it out of the MLS for this period of time. And if we don't sign that waiver, the days on market start counting. So if you've ever looked on Zillow or...
Which is not good, because when you're out looking at homes, the longer days that it's been on the market means what? Every
time the day on market increases by just a day, you are effectively losing a little bit of negotiation power. Because if the home is newer on the market,
gotcha,
you have more eyeballs, you have more competition. The longer you're on the market, the fewer eyeballs you are having on that property. So let's say we agree to move forward with the listing agreement, but we don't get the listing live until 30 days later. Well, now it shows up on the MLS as being about 30 days on the market when it hasn't even been publicly available for a day. And that is kind of the conversation people are having about clear cooperation. One, should we even be required to put it in the MLS? Like, what if the homeowner doesn't want that? I think more competition is a good thing, but also there's some situations where people don't necessarily want the competition. They're more concerned about privacy. So why are we forcing these people who are concerned about privacy to go into potentially a non-private situation? And yes, you can sign forms and avoid the MLS and do all that, but it's a very rigid rule, and Zillow likes that because now they have, by default, all the inventory. And you can just go to their website and you can see all the inventory. Zillow, whereas like Compass is very much pushing their exclusive listings. So then that way you have to go to Compass's website. You have to contact Compass agents in order to see their properties, cutting Zillow out of the picture.
Yeah. So I don't know how that helps the consumer, how that helps people selling their home. I think, if I'm wanting to sell my home, I want as much cooperation, I would say, as possible. I want as many people out there publicizing and marketing my home as possible.
Yep. So I think what NAR recently did was, depending on how it's implemented, I mean, it just came out yesterday, but what they're saying, I think, is a great happy medium between the two. So rather than saying, yes, you can have your exclusive, you don't have to put in the MLS, there's no, that's one option. And then on the other end of the spectrum is everything has to be in the MLS.
Right.
You have to do it really quick. What they've now come up with is they're allowing a delayed period. So think of like a coming soon type of a situation.
A little preview.
So if somebody's getting their home ready, and here's the thing too, is that we like to run, when our clients approve of it, we like to run these coming soon programs because people are oftentimes up to seven times more motivated by the fear of loss to make a decision. So what that means is if there was a buyer that missed out, so we sell a house on average every 3 days. If we had a buyer that missed out on a house that we had listed, somebody else purchased it, and now another home that comes up that's similar, they might be willing to pay a premium and give that homeowner the terms that they want,
right,
to not have to compete with the general market.
Right.
And so because they're motivated by that fear of loss. So having that coming soon program, what are they calling it? Like a delayed, you're going to have written consent. This isn't like agents can just randomly do this. And the delay period is going to be defined by the MLS. MetroList is one of the worst MLSs in the country as far as I really don't think they have the agent's best interest in mind. That's a whole nother conversation. So I'm very curious to see how MetroList, and this isn't just me, this is like national service providers. When I'm working with them, they're like, oh my gosh, you're with MetroList? They're horrible. And so I'm curious to see how they roll out this delayed. Like, what is that going to look like? Is it going to look like 5 days, 7 days, 2 weeks?
Right.
But at the end of the day, the seller has to consent, and the benefit is it now provides somewhat of a medium between not having to go on the MLS at all and being forced to put your property in the MLS. So that way, that the sellers are wanting a middle option. NAR is now saying, yes, we're going to let the MLSs do that.
So you're happy with that?
Potentially. I like the idea. I'm curious to see how it works out in practice. Because again, it's just giving the consumer more choices.
All right.
At the end of the day, we're consumer focused.
So someone who's selling their home, we've talked about a lot today. Someone is thinking about selling their home, and they've talked about these discount brokerages, and you've talking about the confusion or the misleading of Zillow. And they just want clarity, like we've talked about today. They want more clarity. They want information, and they just want to net the most for their home. What should they do?
Just go to madeformorerealty.com and just have a conversation with us. Our contact information is there. I can meet with you over the phone, Zoom, or in person. The last thing I'll say is this. I recently met with somebody, beautiful house. They were getting the listing had expired. They were getting taken advantage by the realtor. And I laid out how that was happening, why that was happening, and what their recourse was. I don't even know if they're going to work with me, but I at least armed them with the information to make the best decision for their family. And that's all we're looking to do is help people.